Alrighty, we are in Note 1 of Unit 6. We're in a brand new unit. So, we're way past the long equations, the ongoing numbers from Unit 5. We're entirely into something entirely new. And in a lot of ways, this is the point, is what we're building up to. Unit 6 is really the first time we're diving deep into what you should expect from algebra. And it's going to be the first taste of what you're going to see in Algebra 1 Part 2 as well. So I want to get you comfortable with this stuff. It's really not that bad. And especially these notes one are just kind of review stuff. So let's get right into it. So at long last, we come back to functions. Pretty much this front half is a review. Now, instead of me walking you through these, I want you to go ahead and try it yourself. I want you to do everything here. These first 4 bullet points. I want you to try it yourself. And then once you're done, you can unpause, and then I'll explain the answers to you. So pause, try it yourself, and then I'll show you the answers. Okay, let's make sure you know what you're doing. So first we're going to start by labeling the 4 quadrants. We've got quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and then quadrant 4 over here. We also want to make sure we know the signs. So the top right here is going to be positive, positive. We have negative, positive here on the left. Bottom left is going to be negative, negative. And then bottom right is going to be positive, negative. We also got to make sure we know how to identify our points. So we go to here to 4, up to 3 for A, 4, comma 3. Then for B, we go over to negative 2, down to negative 3. Negative 2, negative 3. Okay. We also got to make sure we know how to plot our points. So we can go over to 3, up to 1. For W, make sure you label each point so you know which is which. For X, we go negative 2, up to 4. For X. Y is negative 4, negative 4. And then 2 is going to be, Z is going to be 2 down to negative 1. And I have a trick to make sure you know how to do this quickly. Instead of trying to move left and right and then up and down, just go ahead and place your pencil on the X value. Then move up and down to Y. So instead of trying to do the whole left, right, up, and down thing, let's try it with W. Instead of moving left and right, I'm just going to put my pencil on the 3. Then I move up to 1. Simple as that. For the X, I just put my pencil on the negative 2. Then I go up to 4. For the Y, I put my pencil on negative 4, down to negative 4. Then for my Z, I put my pencil on the 2, down to negative 1. It's faster and you're less likely to make mistakes. Okay, next part of the review, we're going back to functions. Do you remember the 2 things points can represent? They're going to be location and data. We're going to be focused all on data from here on out. We're looking at the second one. Points are extremely useful and pretty much always represent something. Test scores, sports scores, rankings, fitness, high scores in the game, money made. Those are only a few examples of the near infinite ways points and data can represent really valuable information. People make a lot of money doing this stuff. So, I want you to go ahead and try to determine which of these 2 tables are functions. And I want to see if you can define it for yourself. I want you to try these and pause. When you come back, I'll explain them to you. Try these. Okay, so this first one here, this is actually going to be a function. Because none of the x values repeat, whereas this one here is not a function because the x values do repeat. So we have 2 x values are the same, so it's not a function. So how would you describe a function? I have two definitions. Each x value has a unique y, or x's do not repeat. So each x value has a unique y value, or x's don't repeat. Both of these definitions work, and is what we see here. The x values repeat, and they didn't have a unique y value. Cool. So go ahead and get that down, and then we'll flip to the back. Okay, so on this back, we're going to see functions in action. I want you to start by going ahead and plotting these points on the table below. But before we do that, I want to make sure you relabel this y-axis. So our function is going to involve tens. So I want to make sure we have tens on the y values, on the y-axis. I'm going to do 10. I'm going to add zeros, so this 1 turns into 10. This 2 turns into 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and so on. So now I can plot my points. Same thing here. I have negative 10, negative 20, negative 30, negative 40, negative 50, negative 60, 70, and so on. Okay, so now that we've relabeled our graph, we can use it to plot our function. I want you to go ahead and do that. Plot these 6 points on the graph below. Pause and do that, and check your work in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot these. I have 1, 15, so I'm going to go between the 10 and the 20. 2 is at 30. 3 is at 45, I'm going to go between. 4 is at 60. 5 is at 75. And 6 is going to be at 90. Make sure I darken these points so you can see them better. You should have something similar on yours. Now, this function represents the amount of money you've made after some number of weeks mowing lawns. Does it look like you can connect these points with a line? Yeah, I think so. I can connect these with a line. Go ahead and try that. Go ahead and try this for me. And when you do, it should look something like this. Be very careful to be precise. The more precise your line is, the easier of a time you'll have. Okay, now that we've done that, let's ask ourselves, are you making more money over time or less? Try circle one. To me, it looks like we're making more money over time. The line's going up, right? Okay, so let's make a prediction. How much money are you going to make after 8 weeks? So if we go to the 8, we can kind of see this could be around 120, right? We're going to make 120 after 8 weeks. We can just look at the line to make that prediction. Yours should look something similar to mine. So we can even put a point at this 120. But if we follow the pattern too, we're also gaining 15 more each time. So plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, and so on. So if we do plus 15 2 more times, at week 7 we'll have 105, and at week 8 we'll have 120. This pattern continues forever. Okay. So, what this line allows us to do is predict the future. We can use it to know how much money we'll make after any number of weeks. That's the power of functions. Once you get the pattern, you can predict the future. If our line is going up, we say it has a positive slope from left to right. Not from, I'm going to write from left to right. Try drawing another line pointing down. So I'm just going to draw a random line pointing down. Something like this. It's going down over time. So, if this line represented our money, would we be making more or less over time? Well, it's pointing down, and over a number of weeks we're getting negatives. So, I'm going to call it less. We're making less money over time. That's not good for us, is it? No, it isn't. We say that it has a negative slope. So to summarize, we have positive slopes and negative slopes. Which represents change over time. Slope is a part of a line, which allows us to predict the future. So lines allow us to predict the future. Slope is whether it's positive or negative. It represents that change over time. And in general, this is a good way to think of it, that positive slope is a positive thing for us. More money, higher score, that kind of stuff. So I want you to go ahead and check your understanding. I've got these 4 questions here. It's going to involve the graph to your right and pretty much everything on this page. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and thank you very much.